Alrighty, so what we have now is the review for the test, which is on Thursday. And the idea is that we need to be able to set up all different types of word problems and be able to solve them. Of course, you have the use of a calculator. So Mr. Lynch has 3 times as many nickels as dimes. The coins, it should be the coins have a total value of $1.50. How many of each coin does he have? So the idea is, okay, well, we know we've got dimes as the unknown because there's 3 times as many nickels. So we're going to say, well, let x equal the number of dimes, and let 3x equal the number of nickels. But you have to understand that nickels and dimes all have a value. So if I talk about the value, again, we're dealing with dimes being x, we're dealing with nickels being 3x, but the value for a dime is 10 cents. The value for a nickel is 5 cents. So what really comes out then is for dimes, it's 0.10x, and for nickels, it's 0.15x. Now I've got values. So the coins total $1.50. So what's going to happen here is I can say, all right, well, my dimes, which is 0.10x, plus my nickels, which comes out to be 0.15x, equals $1.50. On the left-hand side, I've got 0.25x equals $1.50. If I divide both sides by 0.25, again, you're probably using your calculators. You don't have to. X is nickels. I'm sorry, X is 6, not nickels. So how many coins of each does he have? Well, X is 6, and 6 were the number of dimes. So this person has 6 dimes, 3 times as many nickels as dimes, or 3 times 6, which is 18 nickels. Feel free to check your work. 6 dimes is 60 cents, correct? 18 nickels is 90 cents. 90 and 60, $1.50. All right, let's look at the next one. The length of the rectangle is 3 times the width. If the length is decreased by 4 meters and the width is increased by 1, the perimeter will then be 66 meters. Find the dimensions of the original. Well, clearly I have an original and then I have a new one. Well, the original goes by that first sentence. So the original is going to say, all right, well, let x be the width. That's the one I know least about. And then it says, all right, well, 3 times that is the length. Feel free to draw a picture if you feel like you want to, and we could call that x, and that 3x. Well, all of a sudden, we get a brand new rectangle. We're doing something. So what happens with the new rectangle, remember we started out as x, but it's saying to you, well, it's actually going by the length first, so I will look at that one. The length is 3x. That was the original, remember? It says if the length is decreased by 4. So that means I'm going to decrease my original length by 4. The width is increased by 1. So I'm going to increase my width in the original to get to the new by 1, which means I've got a brand new rectangle here in which I've got the width being x plus 1 and the length being 3x minus 4. It's here in this new one where the perimeter will be 66. The perimeter will be 66. Don't forget, when I'm dealing with perimeter, I have to add up all the sides, which means I've got this as 3x minus 4, this as x plus 1. Perimeter, add up all the sides, or some people might remember the formula. Perimeter equals twice the length plus twice the width. The perimeter is 66. That's what it's telling you of the new rectangle. So I'm going to twice the length, 3x minus 4. I'm going to twice the width, x plus 1. Essentially, all you're doing is adding up all 4 sides. There's 2 lengths, there's 2 widths. If I do the distributive property, I get 66 equals 6x minus 8 plus 2x plus 2. I don't really like the 66 on the left. I like it better on the right. The commutative property allows me to kind of bring the 66 to the opposite side. I just like that better. Doesn't matter. When you combine like terms, you're going to get 8x because 6x plus 2x minus 6, negative 8 plus 2 is 66. Add 6 to both sides, 8x equals 72. Divide by 8, divide by 8, x is 9. Okay, well, x is 9. What did I just solve for? I actually solved for the original width. This is what I solved for, which was x. But what's the question asking me? Find the dimensions of the original rectangle. So I do want to go back in here. So what that means is in the original rectangle, the width is 9 meters. The length is 3 times that amount, or 27 meters. This becomes your final answer. I'm not sure I can get this all on one page, but let me see. There you go. Okay, so you have to take this step by step and read carefully. And don't forget that perimeter means don't add 2 sides, add all 4 sides. All right, let's keep going. Get this back here and let's move this. Okay. Cyclepaths Inc. makes bicycles. A few little typos here. Makes bicycles, tricycles, and unicycles. Last week, they made 88 more bikes than unicycles and 5 times as many tricycles as unicycles. If they made 40 more bikes than trikes, how many unis did they make? Lots of words. I get it. Can be confusing. I get it. Break it down bit by bit. So we've got 88 more bicycles than unicycles. So unicycles we don't know. So we're going to call unicycles X. 88 more bikes than that. 88 more bikes than that. CY. So that's where I've got the X plus 88. Well, the tricycles go back to the unicycles. 5 times as many trikes as unis. So 5 times as many tries as unis. I got tricycles, fine. Okay. Well, if they made 40 more bikes than trikes, how many unis did they make? Well, that's fine, but let's worry about this. We'll figure out what the unis is once we work with this equation. 40 more bikes than trikes. Well, that means that my bicycles end up being 40 more than my tricycles, right? So what are we going to do here? We're going to take bicycles and we're going to dump it in for B. We're going to take tricycles and we're going to dump it in for T. Unicycles is not being used when we solve it, but we are going to solve for X. That's what gets us unis. So bikes, X plus 88 equals 40 more than trikes, 5X. Just solve it. Subtract X, 88 equals 40 plus 4X minus 40 minus 40. Bring this up a little bit. And then we get 48 equals 4X. Divide by 4, divide by 4, 12 is X. So X is 12. If I go back up to what I set my stuff to be, X was supposed to be unicycles, and that's what they wanted. So I know that they made 12 unicycles. Let's see if I can get this on a full page. Boom, boom. Okay? Take all of those words piece by piece. You can do it. Let's go to the next one. Okay. In the championship game, Julius scored 5 points less than Karen, and Will scored 1 point more than twice as many as Karen. If Will scored 20 points more than Julius, how many points were scored by each player? Lots of words. Take it down piece by piece. Julius, 5 points less than Karen. We don't know Karen's points. Okay? We know that Julius is 5 less than her. X minus 5. We know that Will is 1 point more than twice as many. One more than twice as many as Karen. That's Will. That should be easy. And yes, of course, you can make this 2x plus 1, which is kind of what I like better, but it's okay. Community property allows me to change it, but I'm not going to worry about it. Will has 20 points more than Julius. Will is 20 more than Julius. Will is 20 more points than Julius. Plug the stuff in. Well, what's Will? Will is 2x plus 1. 1 plus 2x, same idea. Community property. 20 plus Julius. What's Julius? X minus 5. Not so difficult. 2x plus 1 equals, like terms, 15 plus x, 20 minus 5. Subtract x, x plus 1 equals 15 minus 1 minus 1, x is 14. How many points were scored by each player? Each player. Well, x, which is 14, is Karen. So Karen has 14 points. Julius has 5 less than that, or 9 points. And then Will has 1 more than twice Karen. So Will ends up having 29. Okay, that's it. Halfway there. Okay. The lengths of the sides of a triangle are consecutive integers. What's the length of the longest side? Well, there's 3 sides to a triangle, and they're consecutive integers. So let's see. I'm going to call one side x, one side x plus 1, and the third side x plus 2. Those are consecutive integers. I'm going to come over here and just say x equals side 1, side 2, side 3. There are your consecutive integers. What's the length of the longest? Well, they eventually want us to get the length of just side 3, because that's the one that's 2 more than the original, the first, if you will. If the perimeter is 45, well, perimeter means I'm going to add up side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3 for 45. So how do I do that? I say side 1 is x, side 2, x plus 1, side 3, x plus 2, 45, 3x plus 3, 45, minus 3, 3x equals 42, divide by 3, x is 14. All right, remember, it wanted the longest side. So let me get into this big page thing. So if x is 14, the longest side, if that's 14, that's 15, then that's 16. So longest side, and we don't have any units, so that's okay. I'm just going to put 16 units. Alrighty. Next one. Mrs. James owns a piece of land at her house. The width of the land is 12 feet less than triple the length. Let's set that first part because there's a lot more words here. Let's just kind of stop with these 2 first sentences. So we know then we basically have this piece of land, right? We know least about, in this case, the length. The width is 12 feet less than triple the length. So we're going to call the length x. So x equals the length. The width they're telling you is 12 feet less than triple. So 3x minus 12. Well, we got that whole thing set up. It says there is, third sentence, already 1,440 feet, 1,440 feet of fencing surrounding the piece of land. Well, if you've got fence that surrounds the land, wouldn't you agree that basically just means the perimeter of the land must be the 1440. Okay, so that's what you need to get from those words, that the perimeter is 1440. Well, don't forget, there are two lengths and there are two widths. So if I add up all the sides, so here's where I'm going to kind of do a little shortcut on you, see if you can follow what I'm doing. If I add up all the sides, the x's, I've got 3 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1, or a total of 8 x's. Without x, I've got negative 12 and negative 12, or negative 24. This is the tightest equation. You can add them up. Twice the length plus twice the width equals 1440. Either way, you're going to get into combining all like terms. 8x's minus 24 is 1440. Make sure you understand that. Now I'm going to solve this equation. Not a big deal. Add 24 to both sides. 8x comes out to be 1464. Divide both sides by 8, and x comes out to be 183. Okay, so x is the length. So if I go back into my picture, I'm going to kind of draw this again. X, which is my length, is 183. So that means this is 183 feet. If I plug in what x is here, and I do 3 times 183, and then I minus it by 12, again, you need your calculators, this comes out to be 537 feet. All right, great. So I found those dimensions, but wait a second, there's more to this word problem. It says, Mrs. James wants to put down grass on the land. Grass costs 15 cents per square foot. Well, if she's covering her land with grass, if all of this becomes grass, she's really looking for the area to be covered by grass, and the area is length times width. So let's see what happens here. The area of her plot of land is going to be length times width, or 183 times 537, which means, with your calculators, the area becomes 98,271 feet squared. And we're still not done. Because now it says, okay, well, grass costs her 15 cents a square foot. How much is she going to spend on grass? Well, if 1 square foot is 15 cents, 2 square feet is 30 cents, 3 square feet is 45 cents, and so on and so on. I need to cover 98,271 feet squared with grass, which means what I have to do is multiply all that square footage by 15 cents. So I need to take my 98,271 feet squared and multiply it by 15 cents per square foot. The total amount of money that Mrs. James is going to have to spend on grass is a lot. $14,740.65. That's your final answer. There was a lot happening here. Again, if you take it step by step, you should be fine. We found the dimensions of the plot of land with the perimeter. Then we found the area that's got to be covered by grass. And we multiplied that area by 15 cents per square foot because we needed 98,000 and change, basically, for that 15 cents per square foot. All right, 2 more to go. Looks like we're back to something a little bit easier, so we hope. Not as many words. Half of a certain even integer plus 1/5 of the next consecutive even integer is 48. Find the two integers. They're consecutive even, and there's only 2 of them. Consecutive evens, x is always the first number. 2 more than that is always the second number, especially with consecutive evens. 1/2 of an even plus 1/5 of the next consecutive even. So what's happening here is 1/2 of the first number plus 1/5 of the second number is 48. You need to decide what you want to do. I choose to do math, to divide and multiply. And I notice that my two denominators are a 2 and a 5. You can distribute first if you want. I'm not going to. What I'm going to do is say, well, wait a second. I'm going to multiply everything by 10. So I'm going to say, what is 10 divided by 2 times 1? Well, 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 times 1 is 5. So there's 5x plus. I need to realize that my parenthesis is not going to go anywhere, but I am going to still do 10 divided by 5 is 2 times 1 is 2. That parentheses doesn't go anywhere yet. I just got rid of the fifth. I got rid of the fraction attached to it. But don't forget, I still need to do 10 times 48, 480. Now I can again distribute 5x plus 2x plus 4, 480, 7x plus 4, 480, subtract 4, drop this down, raise this up. So then we've got 7x equals 476. Divide 7, x equals 68. Well, what does this thing want me to answer? What is it asking me to do? Let's go here. Let's go here. Find the two integers. Oh, that's easy. Well, then the first integer must be 68, and the second integer must be 70. Last but not least. Okay. The sum of the angle measures of any triangle is 180 degrees. The sum of all three is 180. Find the angle measure of a triangle. Find the angle measures of a triangle if the second angle measures 10 degrees less than twice the first, and the third angle measures 25 more than the second. All right, not such a big deal. I can actually draw a picture. I know that one of the angles measures, find the angle of measures, if the second angle measures 10 less than twice the first. Well, I don't know what the first one's going to be, but the second one is going to have to be 10 less than whatever twice that is. The third one, the third angle measures 25 degrees more than the second. Well, don't forget that the second angle that we happened to deal with was this. So the third angle is the second plus 25. Let me put this on the side. We have no idea what the first angle is. This is the first angle. The second angle was 10 less than twice that. That's your second. That's the symbol for angle. The third angle is 25 more than twice the second. Well, let me take the second, which is that. Let me add 25 to it, and that's the third angle. Well, I think I can write this third angle a little bit better. Negative 10 plus 25 is really just 2x plus 15. So that's a more simplified version of the third angle. Okay, it says the sum of the three angles have to add to 180, which means angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 is 180. Angle 1 is x. Angle 2 is 2x minus 10. Angle 3 ends up being 2x plus 15, and that all totals 180. Let's combine like terms. 2 plus 2 plus 1, there's 5 x's. Negative 10 plus 15 is just plus 5, equals 180, minus 5, 5x equals 175. Divide by 5, x comes out to be 35. Okay, so what does this whole thing want? Again, I think it wants all three angles. I'm going to go back and just read the directions to make sure I don't screw this up. Find the angle measures of the whole triangle. Okay, so that means my first angle is 35 degrees. If I double that for 70 and subtract 10 from that, my second angle ends up being 60 degrees. My third angle, I'm going to look here really. My third angle is double the first plus 15. So that becomes 70 plus 15, or my third angle is 85 degrees. And then here's my final answer. All right, so that's it. Again, they're wordy, they're word problems. If you take your time, you're gonna be fine. Read it once, read it twice, read it a third time, take it step by step. I know you can do it. Good luck.